Saad Show. It's your host, Hassan Saad, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Nuno. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking a lot about real estate and a lot more topics today, as you are, can I say, the king of Sadiyat?
Not Saad. I'm a bit more the king of Rahabi. I don't want to say this.
The king of Raha. You gotta, don't be humble.
It doesn't sound good, but Sadat is definitely a location that we've been working more in the last years. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate you, and you're doing really great. I've been watching your episodes, and it is really nice to see how you've been showing to people your expertise and communicating many different areas, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your feedback, really, and it really hits home. First of all, sorry about the noise if you guys hear that. That's my two cats. You've already met them. But to go back to it, thank you very much for the feedback. Really, it's a step-by-step process. I've been working really hard. And shout out to the editor, Nuwan, who's been editing all my videos. Big shout out to him. He's really up the level of the show. And it's a lot of hard work, honestly. So I appreciate all the feedback that's been given. And thank you so much, everybody, for your engagement. The growth is just out of, I didn't imagine it to grow this fast.
That's good.
So honestly, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started and your journey here in the UAE.
Yeah, basically, it was 2014. 2014 was a very difficult time, especially in Europe. There was a big crisis going on. I think everyone was looking for alternatives, and we were just one of these people. We were young, full of energy, full of dreams, and my wife got an offer in Abu Dhabi to work as a nurse in a military hospital. And I just left everything behind. I had a very different life than what I have today. I was working as an actor, a theater actor before.
Nice, okay.
I've studied in a superior school of theater, and I've been doing theater on stage for a long time. And then I left everything behind. We came, and then we reached here, and wow, what I'm going to do, I tried to find some theater, but my English was absolutely zero.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't speak any English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And suddenly one day, one of my wife colleagues in the hospital said, I have a friend with a real estate company. Your husband doesn't want to try. I said, no way. Never in my life I'm gonna do this kind of job. But anyways, I tried, I enjoyed, and then it was growing, learning, and almost 10 years have passed since then.
Amazing, wow. So you did not even want to go into the field and just coming in, no English, and honestly, that's very surprising to me hearing your level of English right now. It's crazy.
Amazing. Do not exaggerate.
I'm not exaggerating at all. Really, I'm not. Honestly, wow.
It was. Well, I used to say, I think this is for everything in life, but especially for languages. And for when you reach to a new place and you have to learn a language, or you have to start doing something, the first step is immediately acceptance. And because a lot of people comes to this country or to other countries without speaking the language,
right.
And instead of fighting and accepting the challenges, they just try to hide and not talk. I remember many times when I started in real estate, I have a notebook where I used to write what I have to say to the clients, like, good morning, Mr. John, how are you doing today?
Wow, nice.
And then I have answers down with expected and questions to know what to answer, and many times I used to meet the clients, and they used to ask me something, and sometimes I just say, like, bro, they do not understand what I just said. But if you say it with confidence,
it goes.
nobody cares about it, you know? And that's how I started. And then with the time when you start meeting people, writing emails and speaking with people, quickly you develop this skill of talking a different language.
It takes time and effort.
Yeah.
Just time and effort.
But the most important thing is confidence, you know, because even like many times I used to say things that people doesn't understand, but I put it in the middle of the phrase and I say it with so much confidence that nobody cares about it. They just, you know.
That's the way, That's the way.
Yeah, but it was a big challenge. But you know,
of course,
it's full of challenges, right?
100%. You just got to find the right challenges that you want to solve and you want to put effort in, and then it passes. It's all about solving challenges. But starting off like that, so what was, where did you get the confidence from? Like, I know you said you didn't want to join or you didn't want to be in the field. So what brought that confidence in actually going out and learning and speaking, even though maybe you didn't know how to speak properly in the beginning? What made? Where did you build the confidence?
Well, I'm not. I don't want to pass that image that I'm the most confident person in the world, because I am not. I have like times in my life that I'm not so confident,
of course,
and then I have other times that I'm extremely confident, and I'm sometimes too confident, and this is also not good.
True.
So we always have to find a balance. I learn how to fight a little bit when I'm not that confident, and I'm still learning how sometimes when I'm too confident to lower a little bit this level of confidence.
Right.
So, well, I think with I always learn the things on my own. I didn't finish university. I started working early. I'm a single son, so I didn't have an older brother from where I should learn things.
Right.
So I learned everything on my own. And so when you learn the things on your own, or I mean, not alone, but with your friends, with people, when you start working, you start learning things. So when you start in this kind of process, when you depend on yourself, I start living on my own also quite early. So when you do all this stuff, quickly I think confidence is like a line. Once you cross that line, so you experience and then you never go back for a non-confident world. So I think this was a process. But I'm not the most confident person in the world. I have my low levels of confidence seasons, but I always try to fight it back and stay in that.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a threshold that once you surpass it through experience, through building it in a solid foundation, because if you don't build it in a solid foundation in the beginning, then that threshold is shaky. But if it's through experience, through taking your time, through finding the area that you love and really going into it, you start to then build that confidence step by step until a specific point. I don't want to say you're a master, but you are experienced enough and confident enough in your ability.
Exactly.
That way you will never go back down. But sometimes you might be too much where you need to humble yourself a little bit. But I definitely agree.
I think, for example, school and university and masters, they play a very complicated role with this subject. Because I think school is for sure very important. I think university is also very important. But for example, that kind of parents that they obligate the kids to study a certain area or a certain subject, and then they want to make sure that they go to university, and then they finish university. They want to make sure they do the masters immediately. You know, I feel like you need to experience things, and in my case, I think not finishing university or starting early before that, it played. It was in my favor because I built that confidence from that.
Right.
And when you're like just focused on studying without experience things, sometimes you just like get a bit automated and you don't build that confidence. You don't know exactly what you like, what you don't like. And I think it's good, like people experience things and builds this confidence, this support first, and then they can go and do the masters. They can go and try other things, and maybe change what they're studying or what will be their job or their future profession. You know?
I agree. And actually, there's always a saying that C students are usually managing the B students and A students.
Exactly.
C and B students are always managing the A and A plus students. Because if you're an A and A plus student, you're really studying and you're spending your life in the books and and that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but you are missing out on a certain aspect.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I was always like a C student, C plus maybe. That's being humble. So, but I was able to experience life outside of my university, outside of my schooling. I was able to experience
That's very
things.
important.
Yeah, it's super important.
Well, but I'm a parent, and
Right.
I want my daughters to be. Well, I'll be happy if they're A
The best of the best, of
always,
course.
you know. But I want them to experience different things. I want them to experience working before they go and decide what they're gonna do for the rest of their life.
True.
You know, because I think this also will help them to choose the right direction. You know, let them experience. I think this is the most important thing.
That was something that we just actually spoke about with the owner of the company I work for, Natalie Brown, is you are, because I'm expecting a child. I'm expecting a son very soon.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yes, the single couple life with me and my wife is over now that the child is coming.
Well,
But it's another wavelength.
talking about Ken here, also me and my wife, we are ready for it. It's the multiplication miracle of the UAE.
So who knows at this point? But it's true. It's enabling the child to make decisions for themselves. You're a coach, you're a mentor, you're a coach. A coach doesn't tell you what to do. A coach guides you on the decisions that you are making.
But this is also not just leaving the child deciding always on its own. You know, you need to give some guidance.
You're a coach.
Yes.
Yeah, you're coaching them, of course.
It's very easy to get obsessed for something and just do that something
100%.
for the rest of your days or weeks.
100%.
Like gaming, like so you have to make them
Balance.
because they don't know. You have to take them to different
For sure.
spots, to different experiences. Basically, it's this.
There's a really good book, Khalil Gibran. It's called The Prophet, or The Messenger, or The Prophet. Something, I think it was called The Prophet. This book, it takes place in an unknown area, an unknown world. It's a fiction. And what he talks about is it's advice for every area in life, and part of what they were talking about is children. And he mentions so he's a prophet. To give you a context, it's a book about a prophet that's leaving an island, but the people don't want him to leave. So they're like, please give us advice on marriage, give us advice on food, give us advice on health. So once someone says, give us advice on children, he's saying, part of what he was saying is that you are the bow, the parent is the bow, and the arrow is the child, and all you do is you shoot the arrow in the way of success. You don't know where it's gonna land.
Exactly.
You have no impact on where the child has personality. They have their own character, but you as a parent, you are just guiding them to success, and you're letting it go, and you're trusting your ability as a parent to be precise, to hit the target where you want, success or happiness in life. And it was honestly, I would recommend that book to anyone, and I'm sure it's been translated into so many languages. It's a well-known book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And there's so much in there that we can talk about. But that's amazing, really. I look forward to also experiencing that with my child, hopefully very soon.
Look, let me tell you, especially in this country, and I've always fight in my job, real estate. So we work on commission basis, and you always fight to make more money. Right. It's a fight that you go to the life to make your profits higher. But then after you reach a certain level, and you still fight, and sometimes you make a good commission, and you make a good amount of money, and you think like, oh, it will be the most happy day of my life. And It's not. It's the same thing of buying a brand new car.
Mm-hmm.
You buy a Ferrari, and you think you'll be the happiest person in the world, and you're not. You know, it's not enough. It's never not enough.
Yes,
The only thing that I say that really completes me. I don't know how to say it completes. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
That makes me feel complete.
Mhm.
It's when I play with my kids, when I go for the weekend out with my family, when I spend like this quality time with them. It's the family feeling. It's the family time.
I think a lot of people, especially like myself, we take that for granted, especially with work. I work. You can see me working. My daytime job is a consultant for Select Training. We're very busy with meetings in and out. And when you work and I'm sure you know, when you work in the servicing industry, client servicing, clients can call you at 10 p.m. expecting you to answer, 7 p.m. expecting you to answer. Work never stops. You're working on the weekend sometimes. So we take for granted, we need to bring in the money, we need to bring in the food on the table, blah, 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 but we don't take it for granted the family time. And with my wife, like I'm sure if you ask her, how many hours do I spend working versus the quality time that I'm supposed to spend with her, it's drastic. And then once, God forbid, something that's been taken away from you, you're like, oh, I should have spent more time. I should have done this. I should have done that. So instead of saying that, I think it's essential that you plan your time
and start training that, because there's actually a time, especially now we're still young. There's a time when we're young in life. I understood that in my short period of life still. There's a time that you feel really happy with the work. When you feel happy with the work, you become a bit sometimes workaholic.
Yes.
You love working. You get enthusiastic about that. You want to do extra hours. You want to complete. You want to succeed, basically, professionally. And then you tend to forget about this part of your life. You always reach late at home. But this completely changed when I had kids. Not immediately, it took a few years.
I'm sure.
But then I realized immediately that's what makes me happy.
That's amazing.
And nowadays, well, maybe some of the clients will understand now. I rarely work on weekends, and I try to keep as much as I can these times for
the family. And you deserve that, honestly, and they deserve that too.
Yeah, of course,
for sure.
It is very important. You need that to be at full power.
100%. So, how about the real estate world in Abu Dhabi? How's the market going? I mean, maybe I don't want to talk too much about it, but in your experience, for someone who's trying to look for apartments or houses to buy, what's the market like so far here in Abu Dhabi?
Well, this is probably the best time to make this question how the market is, because probably this time what's going on at this moment in Abu Dhabi is probably the best moment ever of real estate demand happening here. And it happened for many reasons. First of all, there was a post-COVID demand that when COVID happened, everyone thought this will be the end of the world, market's gonna crash. But this place is full of people that doesn't belong to here. They came here to work, so there will not be work, so they're gonna go back to their countries.
Right.
So what's going to happen to these houses? Prices gonna crash. We will not have buyers. And that was actually, let's say, 2-3 months that people start selling. Some people unfortunately lost their jobs, and they thought the same. Instead of keeping their investments, gonna get rid of that. But in 2-3 months, everything changed, and the market started picking up with the very crazy demand. It was not only here; it was all around the world for 2 reasons. Mainly because this was a very safe place, a place that played very well the rules of COVID, keeping people safe, and this was really, really nice. And second, because the idea of a property, of a home, completely changed in people's mind, because everyone started working from home,
Right.
everyone started doing podcasts at home,
True.
everyone had their kids studying from home, so everyone stayed more time at home, so they need a little garden, they need an extra room, they need an office. So everyone needed to upgrade their properties. So everyone started looking for properties at the
Right.
same time. And this was crazy. It was like we couldn't believe. And since then, market started picking, and it still didn't stop to pick up. Now, to add on the top of it, we are in a zone of the world where we have a lot of trouble around, right? So unfortunately, we have a lot of trouble. I mean, like wars, problems in countries like Lebanon, where their currency is completely in a very bad condition. So the war in Russia, in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. So being in this position in the world this moment, being a country that accepts everyone, that doesn't take any part on any side, that respects everyone in the world. So it makes very attractive for every person that it's tired of fights or troubles, that they're not responsible for these kind of things. They just want to live peaceful with their families. To bring here their families and to bring their investments here, to move their personal investments here and buy properties. That's what's happening now. So we're having a top up of picking demand from people in this, unfortunately, in this situation. So this is one of the reasons that the market is double picking up at the moment. And plus, we have great properties. We have the sizes of the properties in UAE, especially in Abu Dhabi. Like if you compare a one bedroom in UAE or a one bedroom in Europe,
True.
they talk about almost double size most of the times. And great amenities, great locations, great weather, great family time, great quality life.
Indeed, 100%. That's a very interesting take on it, because Abu Dhabi is safe. Abu Dhabi is a country where people do come in with their investments, or trying to invest, or trying to build a portfolio for themselves. And real estate is the first thing that they look at. I need to buy a house because I need to live. And to be able to be structured and stable and safe, I need to go buy a house. And if you have capital coming from outside, that's the first thing you're going to be looking at. That's a very interesting take. But when we say the market is booming, is that good for investors, or is that good for buyers? Is it good for sellers? Who is it good for?
It's good for everyone. When the market has a positive sentiment, it's good for everyone. You know, when the market has a negative sentiment, it's good for investors, because that's when the investors. The professional investors like to invest, is when everyone thinks that it's gonna go down. When nobody wants to buy, that's when the price comes down. But at this moment, considering the conditions that I just spoke with you, so I am a person that I'm in a situation that I just want to have some life quality. It doesn't matter the price you pay, because you're not paying. I used to say something really nice, which is nobody cares anymore about return of investments. People want return of life. You know, and this is what this country has to offer to these people: is return of life, is life quality, is peace, it's spending the time with their families. This is what is really worth it, and this has no price. You know, so as long as we can offer this to people, people will come and buy and pay. And if we offer even better, people will pay even more. It's how this works, you know. So for me, in my opinion, it's good for everyone, because it is a great place to be. And this is the main reason. So if it's a great place to be, there's no price for it.
I agree. For sure. Yes, money makes the world go round. Money is important. It's a means to life, but that's what it is. It's a means to life. But your happiness doesn't really measure on how much money you have. Doesn't measure on how much return on investment you have. It's the quality of life you're living, and that's honestly the most important thing. I agree 100%. With that being said, I mean, real estate in terms of someone who wants to buy a house, let's say they're working a job, an average person that wants to buy real estate, that wants to invest in a house for themselves, with not a lot of capital on their hand. I know that some houses go for from 800 to up towards 1.5 to 2 3 million. Let's say someone that wants to buy an average house, average person with no capital, strong capital. How are they able to do that? Or are they able to do that?
Um, First of all, there's two ways of buying. There's a cash purchase, so people who have savings and they are willing to put their savings to buy a property without getting a loan from the bank. And it's a mortgage purchase. So I think you're asking me more about like a person that's probably not with so much cash available and wants to invest on
Yes.
something or wants to buy something to live. In this country, the banks will usually give you a loan or a mortgage if you have a salary from 12,000 dirhams around this. So with 12,000 dirhams, you can have an installment up to 5 to 6,000 dirhams, which I think, in my opinion, it's too high because it's 50% of your total income, and this will be a bit tight for you to manage the rest of your life. So I'll advise you probably to be with. Let's put a salary of 20,000 dirhams just to be more comfortable. You probably can pay a mortgage around like 5,000 dirhams. 5,000 dirhams will probably, in these interest rates, which are a bit high, you can get a property around like 1.1 million. With 1.1 million in this country, you can get a two-bedroom with a very decent size of 150 square meters, 140 square meters in a good location.
Very nice. And do you see that as an opportunity for someone to kind of, okay, I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to pay let's say they're comfortable with the 20,000 salary, let's say, and I'm going to buy this house to live in. Do you see that as a good opportunity for that person? Let's say 2 3 years down the line, they can resell it and be comfortable with it?
Yeah. Here, the process of buying and selling is very, very simple. So the times I have sold and resold the same property multiple times during my time in this business. So it's very easy to buy and resell, and it's even also very easy to buy with mortgage and resell it with mortgage. It's not a complicated situation, and if people is scared about that, that's something that they should not be scared. I think they should have their finances like on a solid position.
Right.
I don't think, for example, with a 20,000 salary, that people should have credit cards or auto loans. I think they should probably get a lower quality car because cars and credit cards, that's the things that destroys the finances of people and personal loans. And mortgage is a very healthy financial decision because mortgage is a collateral loan. And in case you cannot sell it, there's many ways of solving the problem without you being like in trouble with the bank or going to court. So
really?
We can settle the loan, we can find a buyer. Even sometimes, and I've seen this happening during my career, the banks waived some of the interest to make it possible to solve the problem for the person. So there's many ways of solving the problem without going to a legal process, which is something that should put people more confident about using this kind of instrument, but always with very solid finances and, if possible, with any other liabilities at the same time. So
That makes a lot of sense because it's an asset that you have,
Yeah.
and the bank still is looking at it's an asset that they can use. I mean,
I used to
for
say
sure.
also, like, look, if you don't own, you are paying a mortgage, but it's not yours.
It's not yours.
It's your landlord mortgage.
For sure. I mean, we're paying. So if you're telling me that 6,000 dirhams a month in mortgage, that's almost the price of the rent that I'm paying.
Yeah.
So I'm renting versus maybe rent to own. What's your thoughts about rent to own? Is there something along those lines here?
Yeah, rent to own in Abu Dhabi. So far, we don't have any options of rent to own. When the market drops slightly between 2017 2018, a few developers came with this option because they have a lot of stock they couldn't sell. Rent to own, in my opinion, I've seen rent to own that was really good investment, and I've seen rent to own that was only properties that nobody bought, and they were like overpriced, and people thought they were gonna do rent to own and they're gonna take advantage of that, and they ended up not doing a good investment. Everything it depends on the property. I'll probably focus on choosing the property. Rent to own for sure makes it easier for people that doesn't have like the 20% out payment required by the bank. But the risk is pretty much the same. You can do a good investment or a bad investment. You have to look in other points of the property, not only because it's a rent to own tickets. You have to look into other comparables.
That makes sense. For any homeowner or home buyers in the market currently, what's your advice for them when looking at a property?
Okay. I think the first thing is, and this is like, I've seen sometimes people saying they don't need brokers, or they prefer to go directly to the landlords. This is a big mistake. But I'm not saying this because I'm one of them. I'm saying like because if you have someone that really, there's two types of brokers, okay? Brokers with experience and with knowledge, and there's brokers without that experience. They're starting, and I'm not saying both of them. You have good brokers and bad brokers, okay? You should choose one of these, or you should choose your broker, but you have to make sure if it's someone with big experience. It should be someone that really cares about you and use his knowledge to help you with that, okay? And if it's someone with not so big experience, these kind of people, they can be also very helpful for you, because this when I was a broker without experience, I used to fight. I used to run every corner to find every single alternative for this person. And sometimes these kind of brokers, they are also the best bet to find the right property. So for me, the best advice is to find a good broker with experience and knowledge. Use that knowledge in your favor without that much experience, but is active and running every corner looking for an alternative for you. And he deserves his commission because both of them have been working hard. The one with experience all these years to serve you and to give you this perspective and this option, and that one is starting now and is running like crazy, active to find the best option.
For sure.
So this is the first advice. The second advice is finances. And lots of people comes with very high expectations, and they try to put all their money. They come for a property of 2 million, and they go up to 3-4 million after a year. They are calling saying that they want to sell it back. So finances, being solid with finances, looking to the mortgage contracts, looking for a good interest rate, and do not I don't want to say over, do not use that much loan amount. I don't want to say loan amount, but like you have to put 20% down payment. Some people, they go and take money from credit cards, from personal loans, from this kind of thing, and use it. So they end up like owning to the bank almost 100% of the property.
Yikes! Yes.
And this, with the time, kills them. So I think having solid finances and finding a good broker, they're ready to succeed and do a good investment.
That's good advice, because you don't want to be owned by the bank.
Exactly.
I want to say,
which is difficult.
It's difficult. Of course, you're gonna have some loans.
You should use the bank as your friend, but you should not you should not be owned by the bank. So the bank should be a support, should be something to leverage your investments, not to make your life more complicated.
I think so. So the question about renting versus buying, what always wins?
That's a very good question, but in my opinion, I think you should do what makes you happy. There is people that they don't feel happy in a place for more than 1-2 years. They want to have the flexibility to go and rent. There's people, they don't even like to furnish the places. They like to live in hotels or in the properties fully furnished, and they like to have this flexibility.
True.
And other people prefer to own it. I am a fan of owning. I own a property, and I think you can take more advantage of it. Even if you want to move somewhere, in this country, you can quickly rent it out or sell it and take some passive income from that. And with this money, you put it in a rent if you want to rent somewhere. I've done this before. I have colleagues, I have friends that live in a 4-bedroom apartment, and they own a couple of studios. And with that studios, they pay the rents.
Very nice.
So they still have the flexibility to move somewhere every year when they want. They have their investments, and they collect the profit of that investments that they used to pay the rent, which is perfectly fine. So I think people should do what makes them happy. But for me, it will be better to own it, for sure.
Definitely. I think owning always works, but when you're capable, of course, do what makes you happy. Like you said, people sometimes like the flexibility of moving, being agile, and buying a house. You're grounded, you're rooted.
Of course, yeah.
So, of course, But going back to what you were saying about making a profit, and then, so what is needed? So the question is, what is needed for someone to make a little bit of profit from renting out an apartment?
So first of all, again, bank, you have to measure very well how much will be your installments, total installments in a year. And you have to calculate this with the service charge you pay of the property. So this is total cost of the property in a year. The remaining, so you receive the rent, so you deduct these payments, these 2 payments, service charge, and all your installments, and only that percentage is your profit on a year. So this in a mortgage property. So you can take small profit, a passive income, if you have a mortgage, and you choose a property that gives you enough rent to pay your installments, to pay your service charge, and still take some profit out of it. Or if you're a cash buyer, you can easily in this country have, and I'm talking about deducting already the service charge, and especially in Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi, against what some people think, has very, very high return of investment. Much higher than Dubai. In Abu Dhabi, you never, if you buy a 1, 2, 3 bedroom, some of the 3 bedrooms now in Saad and Mamshah, they are performing with profits of 11%. And I'm talking 11%
Wow.
for properties that have a value of 4-5 million sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So even today we're discussing this. We've sold two-bedroom townhouse in Mampshire from Seaview a couple of years ago. Sold this at 3.7 million at the beginning of Mampshire. And the landlord, the owner, phoned us yesterday that she wants to put it for sale at 350. So a property with 3.7 million usually before never performed more than 6-7% return of investment. This is almost 10%, 350 on a 3.7 million. This is it's crazy. This is the kind of profit on return of investment from rents. Then you have profits. For example, we are in a moment that people is taking big profits, especially in Saad. Mampshire Saad is a great example. Mampshire Saad, we've sold another two-bedroom townhouse in 2020, 19, 2.9 million. We resold it recently at 5.7 million. And we're talking about 3 years.
3 years.
Talking about 3 years, double the price. So this is a different profit, that people is being able to do. And at 5.7 million at this moment is still a good deal.
Wow.
That's what it is.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. It's still a good deal. And the person that who bought is very confident
and happy
that he will make a good profit on it.
Wow.
And I'm also very confident on that because it's a great location. It's on the beach. It's a great quality. And all around that place, we're talking about a place surrounded by Zayed Museum upcoming. Talking about Louvre, Guggenheim, the new Museum of History,
the
Abrahamic family house. Wow.
It's a big. It's next to Yas Island and the amount of things in Yas Island.
That's what can you expect in that place? That it's gonna crash down.
Definitely.
It is impossible, So I don't think there is a place in the world at the moment like Saadiyat. Because everything is being built at the same time.
Right.
And everything will be ready at the same time.
That's true.
So
by now,
2026,
right.
You get your property with all the other amenities and features.
That's crazy.
If you can call amenities, it's not amenities, but it looks like they build the museums for you to use.
It's true, yeah.
You come and live here and you get a membership
at the museum.
So
your backyard.
I don't think there's a place like that at this moment. It is a great zone and area to invest at the moment, and that can generate big profits. But again, if your priority is not profits, it will give you return of life.
Of course,
for sure.
Like you were saying, the museums, the amenities, the life over there is something else for sure. That is amazing to hear, really, that the growth is not stopping.
No, of course not, and especially in Abu Dhabi. I think we have, and the government and His Highness, they have a great vision of this place.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
The vision that they have.
It looks like they're drawing it.
Artfully.
Yes, artfully. And I think...
If that's a word, artfully.
Yeah. And here, I'm not sure if this happens with you. Every time we go on vacation, we used to take like 30 days vacation in the summer. When we come back, we feel like everything is different already, and that we know there's new people everywhere. There's
new laws that are better,
yes.
a new experience. And I'm not saying the old laws were not good. I'm just saying improving. Yeah, it's always improving.
And this is something that shows you that the country is growing and advancing so fast.
Right.
That if you stay a week, 2, 3 out of it, you feel it.
Right. For sure.
This is, I don't think it happens anywhere in the world.
Rarely do you see it. China's almost the same, but yeah, for sure. For up and coming brokers or someone who wants to be a part-time broker, let's go back a little bit. For up and coming brokers that are new to the market, what's your advice to them?
Okay. I don't believe in part-time brokers. Okay, I think this is a full job commitment, because it takes too much time until you are able to proper succeed in this area. So I think these people who try to do it on part-time, it's just trying to take advantage of some moments. I think after some time they will have to decide rather to go part-time, rather to go back to what they're doing before, or continue full-time in this job.
That makes sense.
But a big advice is be active, and it's very easy in this job to get demotivated, and it's okay. That's not a problem. You're gonna stand up again. So there will be months, sometimes weeks, that you want to quit, that you want to give up. But it is a place full of opportunities. And I'll tell you, I've started, I'm not like a big millionaire, not at all. I'm a very simple person. I don't have a millionaire salary, but I've started very small. When I say small, I've started doing 5,000 salary, around, and then 10, and then always targeting to make more and better, So it takes time, but if you have discipline, if you are committed, and if you like it, because you need to like it, the results will come after some time. And this will, after it comes, and after you understand that you can really succeed and be happy and have like a stable life with this kind of job, then you get more motivated, and then it's just like puts full power, and that's never stop.
So take it step by step.
Yeah, of course.
Build yourself. It's going to be slow in the beginning. That might demotivate you, but then once you're getting there. And remember, earlier we spoke about that threshold. Once you reach that threshold, push
and
full on.
And make mistakes. It's okay, no problem. Let's get back. Let's learn. And one very important thing is it's good to choose a place that has people around you that can teach you something. There are good examples. This doesn't mean that they need to teach you how to speak, how to write, how to do things. They need to you need to look at them as examples, and you need to learn how they do things, and potentiate this on you, and do it on your own way, to not copy anyone, but learn from that. And this is very important. If you have someone next to you in your company that does the same job and is great, is good, and this can change everything.
I think that's an amazing advice when it comes to mentorship. Try to find a mentor anywhere, even if it's not in real estate. Eyes open, ears open, because there's so much you can learn from everybody that you meet. But you need to bring down your ego.
Yeah.
And to bring down your ego, you need to self-reflect and say, okay, why am I thinking this way? Why am I competing against this person? Maybe I'm still new. Maybe I need to build my experience. So look around you, find someone who's, like you said, successful, who's really good at what they're doing, and open your eyes, open your ears, because one day you're going to be like that. But all it takes is just step at a time.
Yeah, in my case, I found someone 7 years ago, which is my business partner. I work with a business partner that already for around 7 years, and which was also a way of us to balance this kind of job. Because this job, for example, if you go on vacation 30 days, when you come back, it takes you another 45 days to get back to business.
Yes, of course.
So both of us, we have families, and we decide to do this partnership. So when I go on vacation, she stays. When she goes, I stay. We always work as a team. Most of the times we assist the same client as a team together.
Amazing.
And the client feels like, whoa, this is good. These guys, they have very good dynamic. I feel supported. And in my case, when I started working with Maria, she was not better and not less than me. She was exactly in the same stage of experience. And we learned from each other with when she did mistakes, I learned from her mistakes. When I did mistakes, she learned from mine, and both of us, we grew equally always, and we achieved the same level always at the same time. And this is something I'm very proud of, and she's also very proud. And we never had any kind of issue. Of course, we had different opinions in times, but we always managed to sort it out. And this was the way I found to educate myself, to learn, and to make this business or this job a bit more regular in terms of time, finances. So we keep the business running always, and this is good.
That is amazing. Synergy between business partners is essential, I feel. So I'm really happy that you can find someone who's on the same spectrum, you know. So where can we find you? So let's say for any viewers who want to buy something, or what's the business, what's the agency, where can we find you?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I work with Better Homes. Better Homes is a big company. We are in Abu Dhabi, where our office is in Al Zain, but we are available on the phone, social media. You can search Nuno Abu Dhabi or the Bond team. You can easily find us online everywhere.
So we'll put the links in the description and everywhere so you guys can find Nuno as well. And thank you for those who are still listening. And any questions that you may have about real estate, I'm sure you can send them through, and then I can send them through to Nuno, or you can reach directly to Nuno and the websites or the links down below. I'm sure I'm going to be putting every link in there so that way you can find Nuno and the team. We're wrapping up the session, and it was a pleasure having you on, but would you like to say something to the viewers for a wrap up?
Yeah, I think like we ended up talking about a lot about work. We talk a little bit about family, and I just want to highlight this subject. I think work is good. Definitely, we need to work. We need to have some earnings to live. But family is better for sure, and so that's what really makes us happy: is care about them, care about someone, and that's it. So I didn't want this podcast to be only about real estate. I think real estate is a part of my life that I use, and it makes me happy. I love what I do. But I like to switch off and leave the real estate at the side and enjoy the time with my family, with my friends, traveling with my parents, with everyone. So that's it. So this is the message.
Spend more time with family.
Yeah, work is nice, family is better.
100%. Nuno, it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you for being on here. So thank you for watching the Hassan Saad Show. If you want to support this channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so whenever I upload, you'll get notified.